2019 Porsche 911 GT3 car review. For an automobile that occupies a real tiny niche inside of a niche from the vast 911 family, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS sure has developed into a massive thing. The RS's carbon fiber fixed rear wing is continuing to grow to near ridiculous dimensions. Each recent generation has seen that you have to be conspicuous, the struts where it's mounted pushing the wing farther into your clear air. The body has swelled in each and every direction to the stage that, piloting the auto along the narrow paths that be roads around the Isle of Man, the brand new RS's 74.0-inch width causes it to feel as if it's taking on 3/4 from the surface. So be careful around those blind corners. The displacement of the company's naturally aspirated engine has grown over the years to 4.0 liters up in the 2.7 on the original RS from 1973. The engine inside last generation GT3 RS from 2016 also displaced 4.0 liters, nevertheless for 2019 readily stored away substantially updated and awarded 20 more horsepower, for any total of 520. Depending on the perspective, the RS engine turns into a 20 horsepower boost in comparison to the standard 911 GT3, and the GT3 receives a 20 horsepower haircut than the RS. The engines are almost identical. Both receive new pistons and rings, a compelling valve train with shims for valve clearance compensation and preference to hydraulic adjustment, a stiffer crankshaft with larger main bearings, wider and thicker connecting rod bearings, and plasma-coated cylinder liners. Compared with the very last RS, Porsche also bumped inside the compression ratio, from 12.9 to 1 to 13.3 to 1. The 20 horsepower gap between current GT3 as well as the GT3 RS relies on electronics plus a different exhaust system. The RS's exhaust also gets titanium tailpipes, within which turn the loveliest cobalt blue from prolonged exposure to heat. The car sounds so competent at higher revs, you can twist the engine to 9,000 revolutions per minute, that we let loose a completely unintentional woo. If we reached the top of reaches in the tech, and our co-driver were required to remind us to out of the house because of a quickly approaching corner. It's that fantastic. That extra power, we estimate, chops an impressive 0.1 next than the previous GT3 RS's 0 to 60 mph time. The last GT3 RS we tested did the deed in 3 seconds flat. Not that, and other RS, can be a drag racer. This is really a track day destroyer. Its cornering grip is, well, massive. We weren't competent to run numbers on your vehicle, but we're ready to venture a reckon that it'll score greater than the 1.08 grams that any of us achieved with the final RS. That grip commences with a new generation of either Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 or Dunlop Sport Max Race 2 gumballs. Sized 265/35 at the start and 325/30 on the rear, either tire is qualified for the track and acceptable within the road, assuming the next windstorm is okay. The front and back suspension systems use metal ball joints as opposed to all rubber pieces. The very last generation RS retained some rubber at the start. Stiffer back and front springs quell body roll, despite the brand new RS's less aggressive front anti-roll bar. With its carbon fiber rear ironing board, larger front spoiler, front fender top vents, and new rear underbody diffuser, the RS produces double downforce at 124 miles per hour from the Awachi pretty downforcey standard GT3. The upshot could be that the front end has more grip and feels better settled than any 911 we've ever driven. There's a rock-solid steadiness, a seriousness, to the knowledge. quicker steering than the last GT3 RS, and retuned rear wheel steering provide the RS a degree of nimbleness which enables make it feel slightly less massive compared. In keeping with all the theme, the brakes are, yep, massive. 6-piston calipers at the start and 4-piston units inside the rear squeeze 15.0-inch iron rotors. Or you could go for carbon ceramic rotors, 16.1 inches in the front and 15.4 inches rear, for an additional pair $9,210, like those within the cars we drove. The pedal feel is perfect. The car is like it could handle greater than 520 horsepower. That's because doing so can. It's basically the same vehicle since the turbocharged 700 horsepower GT2 RS. We suppose you'll probably find circumstances through which you'd really appreciate the excess 180 horsepower, but believe us whenever we tell you that 520 is sufficient in this car on public roads. Plenty. Naturally, the GT3 RS is accessible only with a dual-clutch automatic transmission, considering that the DCT is faster than the usual manual around the racetrack, despite who is rowing the gears. Want a manual? Well, it's available inside regular GT3. There are a couple of modifications compared together with the earlier GT3 RS, that was also based around the current 991 generation. Technically, this car falls beneath the 991.2 designation. The front lid is pierced with NACA ducts that feed cooling air towards the front brakes. There are actually brake cooling ducts in the nose at the same time, however they are downsized from those with the last RS. The combination with the NACA and underside ducts ends up with greater air volume with lower aerodynamic drag. Also, NACA ducts look cool. The louvers on the fender top vents now bulge proud from the top with the fender. But otherwise, the brand new car looks just like a final one. The RS starts at $188,550. About $40,000 more when compared to a GT3 and over $100,000 less compared to a GT2 RS. If you desire to save money, invariably you can order the $18,000 Weissach package, which swaps the painted magnesium roof to get a carbon fiber panel and replaces the common anti-roll bars with carbon fiber pieces. A little carbon interior bits and Weissach logos and plaques round out the bundle. Ordering the Weissach stuff unlocks an opportunity for magnesium wheels, which cost a different $13,000. The RS's look is, extroverted. Low and wide and accented with exposed carbon fiber and various aero addenda, the thing is that never going to be pretty. But it is purposeful in look, and RS cars are the outgoing sort, offered in eye-popping color combos. That's naturally true of this new car, and when you want massive attention within your new GT3 RS, you opt for your $4,220 lizard green paint. It's an eco-friendly so green it might embarrass a Dodge Viper. It's kinda perfect here.